You're quite a positive individual, and you tend
Thanks.
to have a great degree of self-assurance. You believe in your ability and in yourself. Where does that courage come from?
So it's developed over years. So I think, let me start from the first part. I think sport in general and fitness in general gives you a lot of empowerment and a lot of good life values and a lot of self. This is where the self assurance comes from. So you're able to develop those characteristics and those values that develop that innate belief in yourself. Because you're always, every training session, every competition, every interaction, every meeting with a coach, you're challenged. Even if someone asks you, like, why are you doing that? It's a tiny challenge, and
Yes.
you might not think, what is this? But that is a challenge. Turning up for training every day is a challenge. Turning up for training and different things when you're tired, sore, injured, especially, is a challenge. So you're continually being bombarded by challenges, but sometimes you don't even realize.
Yes.
Sometimes it's glaringly obvious, like, oh man, another day. But you're always being challenged. And when you're pushed and you are challenged, you grow. So I always say, you always grow when you are challenged. You can't grow by just sitting here, like, what's happening? You have to be pushed, you have to be thrown in the deep end sometimes, and that's where you get the growth. So there's that element, the sporting side. Then there's the aspect just about being positive in general. So I believe like you are always going to be your own best friend. So that means you have to treat yourself how you would treat your best friend. So if your best friend, you tell them like, oh man, you deserve better. You're such a great guy. Tell it to yourself. Like charity starts at home. It doesn't mean you tell like you are, like God or something.
Yes,
Like
yes,
special,
yes,
you know what I mean? But give yourself a pat on the back, man. Like you're doing all right. Even if you're in a hard moment and you didn't get the result you wanted, like, hey man, you tried. You did your best. It comes with time. In my case, it wasn't just that. So I mean, as a person, I engage in like therapeutic practice as well. So therapy, so psychological therapy and things like this. I'm very open about it. Like it helps a lot. For me, it's mental training. So there's a bit of a stigma around it that like you have to go like when I got hit by a divorce or a breakup
Yes.
or something bad, which is okay because it's healthy to do it. But doing it even regularly, which can be every few months, whatever, it's a degree of mental training as well. You don't need to wait for the problem to happen and hit you like a train. So, there's that element as well, where you're psychologically preparing, understanding how you react to certain situations. So it's a combination of all those
All
things.
right.
It's a combination of all those things.
In sports, it's very common. So, was there a time where you were underestimated?
Yes. Uh, so it depends in the sense that I've had degrees where maybe I was underestimated by opponents, but this happens a lot in sports naturally because when we're all competing there, we're all expecting like, I'm gonna beat you, like I'm the best, you know what I mean? But underestimation, I think, is good in the sense that it challenges you to remind yourself, because a person will come up to you, especially as you climb the ladder in competition, you'll be like, oh, you have no chance, or I'm obviously going to win.
Yes.
You can't just believe your opponents in sport. You have to like be like, nah, man, I got this. You have to learn how to funnel what is being said. So then you came up to me and said, you have no chance against me. I've won this 5 times. You have absolutely no chance. You have to be able to say like, today, man, is the day that I'm gonna remove Daniel's title. Like I've trained for this, I've worked for this. Let's make it happen. This comes with training, obviously. When you're young and you're so like I remember when I was 16, I started competing with the adults in athletics who were seasoned athletes. When you're young, you have that element like, I can go to the first race, so I'm gonna show them who's boss. Then you end up like 10th, 15th. You're like, oh man, these guys are the real deal. What's going on? I used to win against the youths. Like, what happened here?
Yes,
You know
yes,
what
yes.
happened? So it's a bit of a reality check. But then as you climb the ladder, you start, from 15th, you become 10th, and from 10th to 8th, then you drop back down to 13th. You're like, what's going on? I was going up. So you learn the dynamics. Learn the dynamics until you get where you want to get.